Good morning, world. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. As I am starting this video, you guys just started watching my part one of my recent video as it just got uploaded. So you guys will enjoy that show, and I'll upload this video, and you guys will enjoy the show afterwards again. You get to binge 2 videos today. I might do a 3 video marathon today. It just depends how I feel when I go to bed after this. I'm gonna have a smoke, go to bed, I'll watch my video, and I might make perhaps a third, maybe short 30-40 minute video for you guys to watch. Right. I'm gonna keep saying this, guys. You better enjoy this series while some can. As once I'm king, I'm not making the real stream, man. As I already signed on this channel, you don't see my face, man. Yeah, man. I already signed out on this channel. You don't, even though I'm making videos, you don't see my face, guys. There's a reason why I'm not showing my face because I'm a man of my word. When I say I'm signing on this Salvage channel, I mean it, man. When I'm king, I'm gonna totally forget about the Salvage channel. I'm a famous movie star, and what? I'm living the billionaire life with VJ, and I'm enjoying my $300 million penthouse with VJ, my nice $50 million yacht, my $100 million jet. We're on a Sky's company. We buy nice clothes, these are nice cars. You know what I'm saying? It's going to all these restaurants, clubs, and events, and VJ living the life. Obviously, staying in all these nice suites when we travel around the world. Yeah, we're living the life. Hence why I'm famous. I'm famous. Don't forget that. Hence why I'm the most famous man in the world. SB VJ are totally gonna forget about what? VJ is gonna forget about her fucking Hollywood life. That's how crazy of a life me VJ be living. VJ lived the Hollywood life, and once VJ's queen with me, even VJ's gonna forget about her. I'm gonna ask VJ, hey VJ, do you miss Hollywood? Ivan, you fucking kidding me? I don't miss Hollywood. Hollywood's fucking dirty. I was a dirty slave. I had a sabotage career. I saw hell. I was garbage. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the mess happened, obviously, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, VJ was garbage. She saw hell. She was miserable, obviously. Her family wouldn't let her see me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? The families won't let VJ see me, obviously, because they somehow think they control my relationship when they don't, man, because they're crazy people, obviously. Yeah, you guys better enjoy this series because once I'm king, guys, I'm going to forget about the Cyberbots channel. You know how celebrities live their life? They're famous. You see them. You see the trailer. They're movie stars. They're in the Comic Con. They're rich. They're famous in life. Yeah, me. Well, picture something even crazier now. I'm gonna be world famous for my Zanus book, and even crazier fame for my movie. And what? I'm going to be living that life. I'm gonna be a famous movie star, man. Me and VJ are gonna fund the movie ourselves. Take, hey VJ, I want to fund Zanes for 980. VJ be like, Ivan, 980 might be a bit too much. I'm like, no VJ, I want to fund it for $980. That way I get an amazing movie. Unheard technology, even better than even Rings of Power. Rings of Power Amazon put like $1 billion towards that, but they put $1 billion towards like 6 seasons. 6 seasons. So they're probably making each season for what, like $220 million each around there? If my math is right here. Yeah, so even though Rings of Power is made for $1 billion, it's made for, they put $1 billion for 6 seasons. So that's 6 years worth of content. Whereas me, I'm putting 980 million towards the 3 movies. That's why if you think Rings of Power looks good, Zanes will blow Rings of Power out of the water. You're looking at something even better than Avatar. And Rings of Power, I believe, is the most expensive television show ever made, even more expensive than Game of Thrones. I just recently saw. I went on Lord of the Rings Red, and I saw the Rings of Power trailer. I saw the teaser trailer that got released a couple months ago, and I recently saw the extended trailer. The show looks okay. It doesn't look great. It doesn't look terrible. It looks okay. You see what I'm saying? Because I heard Amazon, they only have what? Amazon, they don't have the rights to like to all the prequel books that Tolkien wrote. They only have the rights to the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and they're relying on the appendices of the Return of the King to come up with a story for Rings of Power, which I thought was a huge red flag. I'm like, look, man, you need to read the source material, man. If you're gonna make a fucking prequel, and I don't know, the second age of during of Lord of the Rings, obviously, you need to fucking have a source material. And I heard they don't have a source material. And that's why I'm a bit skeptical. I don't know if the show looks okay. Who knows? Rings of Power might be popular. It might what? Rings of Power might be the next Game of Thrones. You never know. It might be very popular, or it might flop. We'll see what happens, obviously. Ivan, you think Rings? I personally believe Rings of Power will not be the next Game of Thrones. I heard Amazon wants Rings of Power to be the next Game of Thrones. I don't think it will because Ivan, why do you think it? Why do you think it will not be the Rings of Power? Because the Amazon does not have source material for what? They don't have a lot of source material for the show. Which what? If you don't have source material, if you're gonna make an adaptation based off a book, the beloved J.R. Tolkien's franchise, you need to have source material. And I heard Rings of Power, they're relying on the appendices of Lord of the Rings to do their. I heard all they have is like the appendices of Lord of the Rings to do their series. I'm like, it's a red flag, man. You need to have the source material of all the prequel books, like the Silmarillion, Children of Her. You need to read all those books, yeah, man. That way you have source material. See what I'm saying? I think the show will be okay. I don't think the show will flop. I don't think it'll be the next Game of Thrones, but who knows? It might be it might be the next Game of Thrones. And I recommend all you people around the world who love Lord of the Rings, you check out Amazon's Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power on Amazon Prime on September 2nd. It'll be released. And I'll watch the show myself. I'll see, because I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan, I'm going to watch the show myself, obviously. I'll watch it, obviously, and I hope it's good, obviously. I hope it's good. You know what I'm saying? But I told you, like, the one thing that really, Ivan, the one thing that I don't like about Rings of Power, it looks very computery. And it doesn't feel like Lord of the Rings. It feels like Game of Thrones will at times. It doesn't really feel like Lord of the Rings when you saw the trailer. You see what I'm saying? Hence why I'm going to tell Peter Jackson, if I hire Peter Jackson, I'm going to keep harping on this topic, man. When I hire Peter Jackson, he signed his massive, I don't know, $300 million deal, and he's happy. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be my director for my movie, the boss of my movie, obviously. I'm giving him full power. I'm like, Peter, look, man, you know the Rings of Power show? Yeah, I know the show. Yeah, you know, the Rings of Power show is nothing like your franchise, by the way. As guaranteed, Rings of Power will not be better than Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings franchise, as nothing will top that. The Rings of Power will not. You can tell it's not as good as Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings, obviously, right? Like, Peter, please, I don't want that computery CGI look. The Rings of Power has some natural look. There are a few scenes in the trailer where you saw that you can tell they used practical effects. It looked very natural. But there are other scenes in the movie that looked very computery. So I'm saying, like, the world building, you can tell looked a bit computery. I'm not a fan of that CGI computery look, like The Hobbit and Rings of Power. No, man, I want that natural look. That natural. You know Robin Hood, the movie Robin Hood that came out with Russell Crowe. Remember how that looked very natural? Yeah, I want, you know what I'm saying? You know how Passion of Christ looks natural? Except the world is nothing like Passion of Christ. Passion of Christ is ancient times Jerusalem, whereas Xanus is like Lord of the Rings, Pandora, except the world looks natural. Guys, Peter, I want the world looking very, very natural. That's why I'm gonna build big sets. I'm gonna rent. I'm gonna have my legal advisor rent like 200 acres worth of property in Switzerland. That way we have a lot of filming locations for the movie, and your world looks natural. You have Xanus looking very natural, but the world looks very amazing, better than even Avatar, obviously, and Lord of the Rings. The world will look very amazing, obviously, but it will look very natural. You're gonna get that natural look. You know what I'm saying? The walls look natural. They're 3 times scarier than the beings of Lord of the Rings, but they look very natural. They don't look computery like what? Like the Hobbit works that are full CGI, you see what I'm saying? I know what I'm doing, man. Stay away from that full CGI look for Xanus, man. Otherwise, the movie won't be as good as Lord of the Rings. I'm telling you right now, I know what I'm doing, man. If you have Xanus full CGI, man, if I build cheap sets and I rely heavily on green screen, blue screen, the movie won't. It'll be a good movie, but it won't be as good as Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings. It won't beat it out, man. If you want to beat Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings, you have to what? You have to have me acting it, obviously, you know what I'm saying? Have VJ act as Lithia. That way you get a better, that way you create a better movie. And have Aratat all be walking devils. Stay away from PG-13 Aratat. No, man, the movie won't be as good. It'll be a good movie, but it'll undermine the plot of the story. You see what I'm saying? Trust me, I finished reading a section of my book, obviously, the Thesis chapter, and man, I was hooked. I'm like, holy shit, my book is sick. I wrote a masterpiece. Yeah, man. Looking at a masterpiece, Thesis, the King Bat of the Mountains. Yeah, man, look at an amazing story. Yeah, man, a masterpiece I wrote, man. Stay away. I'm going to have this talk. When I do the board meetings of Peter Jackson, Ivan, when are you gonna start writing a script? I will start writing the script a good, like, I don't know, 3 days. I want to do board meetings for at least a good, like, two to 3 days for the first 3 days. So the first couple days, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni and me and VJ and all of them will do board meetings for a good, like, 2 3 days. So it'll be me, VJ, Peter Jackson, Guillermo del Toro, and Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. And I'll ask Peter Jackson, hey, do you know any Lord of the Rings crewmen who can help you advise, who can advise you if you want? You can even hire advisors to help Peter Jackson. That will help me. But all those 4 or 5 guys are enough. You don't like Peter Jackson only. I guarantee when Peter Jackson had meetings, it was only him, Fran, and like Philip, and the assistant director who discussed the movie. You know what I'm saying? We don't need a bunch of people. I'm gonna ask you, Peter. Peter, do you know anyone who can help you with help? Ivan, no, I don't need any help. And I'm saying, go to Del Toro, you, VJ, and Jon Favreau are more than enough. Yeah, it's more than enough. I don't need to hire anyone else to help him out, obviously. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, when I do, I'm probably gonna do a good three days of board meetings with Peter Jackson, with Del Toro, and Jon Favreau. We can do the meetings in my concert art room, or we can do it in the boardroom if we want. I'll do it in the concert art room. Concert art room is better, obviously, or we can do it in the nice boardroom, my nice like luxury boardroom in my in my office, obviously, and me, VJ, and what Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, Peter Jackson, with Del Toro are going to discuss the movie. That way, we have some good ideas for the script. Okay, Peter, we'll do board meetings all day for 3 days, and then after that, we will start writing the script. Me and VJ will discuss our notes that we wrote. I'm going to give Peter Jackson and Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni me and VJ's notes that we took. Okay, guys, these are the notes that me and VJ. Holy shit, Ivan, you're prepped. Yes. Okay, Peter, this is like 10 pages worth of notes I took for my 3 volumes. What do you guys think? And you go over it. What do you guys think? We discuss it, obviously. I'm going to have John Howe and Alan Lee in that room, too. I'm going to tell John Howe and Alan Lee what I want the characters. I discuss with John Howe and Alan Lee the characters. Because before John Howe and all of them draw, you have to tell them your ideas, obviously. I'll just tell them some ideas, but at the end of the day, I'm going to rely on their creativity to what? To draw all the lands and all stuff. You see what I'm saying? Huh? Okay, John Howe and Alan Lee. I want the North to be holy like Rivendell. I want Zanes to be something like Rivendell, except make it original. There's a big wall. You know what I'm saying? I want you to create the courtyards. Ivan, what do you want the courtyard to look like? I don't know. Like, I don't know what I want the courtyard to look like. You guys are going to have to discuss that as I give vague details of my book. But I'm going to tell them some of my ideas. Okay, look, guys, I hired you guys. You guys are going to be responsible for creating all the lands. I'll give you some ideas for some of the lands, but at the end of the day, it's up to your creativity. You know what I'm saying? And John Howe and Alan Lee design like a beautiful, they have beautiful world building for my movie, man. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I want the ancient Lady City to be something like Moria, except it's a cavern. It has a cavey appearance, except it's something like Moria. Tell John Howe that what they know. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, I want the Mountain of Gilead to be something like this picture here, like this picture I that picture I showed you in my Pershing Rice video. You can tell them that what they know. You have mossy trees. You have this path. You know what I'm saying? You tell John Howe and know what they know, obviously. You tell Peter Jackson you don't want Aerotech to be okay, concept artist who drew for Pennywise the Clown. What do you want Aerotech to look like, Ivan? Okay, I want Aerotech to look like someone like Pennywise the Clown. Peter's like, Ivan, what? Pennywise the Clown? I'm like, yes, Peter, I want Aerotech to be something like Pennywise the Clown. He's a wolf. He's an animal, but he has human features like the wolves, like the orcs in Lord of the Rings. You know, all the orcs in Lord of the Rings are orcs, but they have human features. They have ears. They stand on 2 feet. You know what I'm saying? He has human features. I don't want him to be a wolf on 4 legs. No, otherwise looking at a flop. I don't want him to look like a werewolf. No. Guillermo del Toro might be like, Ivan, I think it'd be cool if he was a werewolf. Like, no, Guillermo del Toro. I don't want Eric to look like a werewolf. No, man. He's a wolf, but he has human features like the orcs in Lord of the Rings. And he looks like Pennywise the Clown. He doesn't look like Pennywise the Clown, but he has like some similar Pennywise the Clown features. Tell John Howe and all of them now what they know. Okay, Ivan, what are you thinking of for your features? I'm thinking of that devil being an Annabelle. And a hybrid of that devil being an Annabelle and the boss orc in Lord of the Rings. What if you do something? I think that's pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? And Peter Jackson's okay, Ivan, if Peter Jackson's like, Ivan, if you don't want Eric to be a full-on CGI wolf, What do you want them to look like? Okay, I want the wolves and bats to wear masks. Okay, Ivan, what are you thinking of? Okay, I'm thinking this picture here. I'm thinking this picture here. I go on the computer. I show Peter Jackson the animal demon. He's like, holy shit, Ivan, you're looking at demons. Yeah, they look something like this. The actors and extras are gonna wear this mask and they're gonna wear this costume, and they look something, but they're 3 times scarier than these beings here. And Peter Jackson's like, okay, Ivan, you're looking at walking devils, Ivan. I'm like, yeah, you're looking at walking devils. On the basis, you're looking at the devil himself for Aratat and Ephesus and all that. Hence why Zane's will be the best story we told in Motion Picture Man. If you pour non-Amenos towards that kind of story, and you have me acting as Prince Tactius, you have VJ as Lithia, you know what I'm saying? At the same time, I put $400 million towards special effects for the world buildings, action sequences, and the horror of the wolves and bats. And I don't forget, I paid all the crewmen their $150,000 salary, $200,000 salary. I paid all the actors their rich millions. Biggest movie contract ever for entire cast. I will get an amazing movie even better than Peter Jackson. I paid Peter Jackson's $300 million contract. I will get a better movie than his Lord of the Rings movie. He'll work harder for me than what he even did for Lord of the Rings. Think about it. Lord of the Rings was Peter Jackson's baby, but they paid him less. And they didn't spoil him the way I spoiled him. He was also a dirty slave in Hollywood. Don't forget that. And he worked his ass off, and you got a masterpiece like that. Whereas for my movie, I paid him more money and what? And Xanth is a better story than Lord of the Rings. I gave him a much bigger budget. I gave Peter Jackson a $9 million budget for my movie. See what I'm saying? Because I spoiled him with perks, and he signed that massive contract, Peter Jackson will work his ass off for me. Guillermo del Toro will work his ass off for me. You see what I'm saying? They're going to work hard. Obviously. Alright, you have a plan? Yes. The moment I meet VJ in Los Angeles, I fly to Vancouver. Once I plan Scarces with George Lucas, me and VJ will take our 8 months off, enjoy ourselves, but we need to work. We're going to have to work a little bit. Okay, VJ, we need to look at all the resumes, obviously, for the 17 and all them. And we need to what? I want to plan out. Let's write a good 10 pages of notes, VJ, for the 3 volumes. Some of the changes that we should make in the movie. In the movie. Okay, VJ, you read what I read your book. Okay, VJ, did you understand what I understand your book? Okay. What changes are you thinking of for the movie? Okay, and then we write it out down, and then we give Peter Jackson our notes. That way he knows. He knows the ideas that we have, obviously. And that way he's well prepped when we write the script. We'll do 3 days of board meetings all day long. So we do the board meeting from 9 to 12. Everyone eats 2 15-minute breaks. Everyone eats lunch. Only Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, I'll have them do the board meetings with me and Peter Jackson, with Motor and VJ, and George Lucas. That's enough. Whereas all the other guys are going to be hard at work in the office making business calls. They have to make calls. I don't pay you for nothing. Then after those 3 days, me and Peter Jackson and Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni will start writing the script. We need to do the board meetings first, discuss the movie for 3 days, and then after that, we start writing the script. That way we have, and Peter Jackson read my notes, for the 3 volumes, he knows, we did our board. Okay, Peter, in the book, Aratat has an axe. I think for the movie, he should have a sword. You see what I'm saying? Aratat's eyes glow red in the book. In the movie, I don't want his eyes going red. Otherwise, it'll be silly. You can have his pupils change color. Taki's eyes go blue in the book. In the movie, his eyes change color. Kind of like Twilight. You know how Twilight Edward Cullen's eyes change? Yeah, his eyes change color. You know what I'm saying? Ephesus and all of them have axes. Morale, Bo, Fool, they have axes. In the movie, I want them having swords. That way you get better fighting. You make some changes, obviously. You see what I'm saying? I want more scenes with Aratat in the movie whereas in the book, Aratat is not developed as well as Taki's on. In the movie, we can develop him a bit more. Have him have more scenes. And have Fool have more scenes. Well, the animal characters are developed enough. They all have a lot of scenes in the book, but they're not as developed as well as the human characters. You see what I'm saying? And so we can add more scenes. For example, in Young Tacitus, Tacitus only talks to the eagles one time. They fly by him, you know what I'm saying? He's like, good day. Tacitus is like, eagles, and they fly by him, and that's it. Whereas in the movie, you can have Tacitus and them talk to the eagles, and the eagles, the eagles tell them stories. I'm thinking of having a scene where Tacitonius and Tacitus, they sit around the fire in Xanus, obviously, and like Cassius and them tell them stories. I'm thinking of something like that for young Tacitus. That's not in the book. We can add that in the movies, you know what I'm saying, to make it more interesting. Hence why I'm going to have VJ help me. Okay, VJ, help me out. What should I add? What should I not what scenes in the book are not good for the movie, what scenes are most of my scenes are good for the movie, but some of them are not good for the movie. Some of the scenes I will not add in the movie, obviously, you see what I'm saying? Like some of the comedy that's in the book, I might take out. I might not include in the movie. Yeah, Ivan, maybe some of the comedy sections you can take that out. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm only gonna admit probably like 5% of my scenes. That's it. Because Xanus is a masterpiece. If you Peter Jackson, like Ivan, if you follow your book, you're gonna get an amazing movie, man. You wrote a masterpiece, Ivan. You know, so your book is even better than Jared Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. Peter Jackson will tell me, oh, Ivan, your book is better than Jared Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. You know what I'm saying? I was a lot more interested in Hook reading your book than his book. His book is a drag, yeah. And man, he's like, man, Tolkien's book is is a very messy book to adapt. Because even though Lord of the Rings is a masterpiece, it's a very messy book to adapt. Because Tolkien has so much things going on. Hence why Peter Jackson had to cut out like 80%. Because if you follow Lord of the Rings, like 60% of Lord of the Rings will be better, obviously. But because Tolkien has so much things going on in every page, if you follow everything, some sections of the movie can be a bit messy. Because Lord of the Rings is very slow, it has very slow pacing, whereas I keep the story pacing. You know, I mean, your book is so much easier to follow, it's so much easier to adapt to the screenplay than fucking Jared Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. Jared Tolkien's Lord of the Rings is fucking complicated to adapt, but Peter Jackson pulled it off, obviously. But fuck, it's complicated to adapt, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. You guys are probably just finishing part 1 right now, as I speak, right? And you're probably in part 2 of my video. Enjoying the show. You better enjoy it, Serious Wise Camera, because I'm not making any videos when I'm king, man. I'm gonna start Skywars, live my life with VJ, and I'm taking off the throne, and you're left behind. You're not saved. And you're not a part of my billionaire life. You're left behind, man. You get what you deserve, man. Anyways, yeah, I thought it'd be cool to talk about this Xanus topic because I don't want anyone ruining my fucking movie. But I'm gonna be prepped, man. I'm reading the Seinfeld's Foundation of Screenwriting. I recommend all you guys pick up, all you filmmakers, all you film students, obviously, who want to be an aspiring filmmaker, and you want to write your own screenplay too. All you filmmakers or people who want to write your own movies, obviously. I recommend you pick up Seinfeld, SYD, and then Field, The Foundations of Screenwriting. It's one of the best screenwriting books in the world. Go on YouTube, go on Google, the best screenwriting books in the world, and Seinfeld's Foundation of Screenwriting will pop up. And that's how I found him, obviously. And I bought his book. I bought his book used on Amazon for $15. It's cheap, so I recommend you buy it on Amazon before the stock runs out. Obviously, you can get the new version or you can get a used version. My book is used, obviously. It's wrinkled and all that stuff. It has people highlighted some stuff on the book, obviously. But I bought it for $15 on Amazon, and it was cheap. And I'm already like 120 pages into the book, man. And I'm learning a lot about from the book. I'm gonna read the book a good like 2-3 times before I even pen down my Xanus script, obviously. And I'm also gonna study Peter Jackson's Fellowship of the Ring script. That way I'm prepped. And I'm gonna have VJ help me study the script with me, obviously. She can help me out, obviously. Give me some tips, obviously. Because VJ's creative like me. She'll help me. All right, you don't need my help. No, VJ, I need your help, sweetie. And I want you helping me. Okay, VJ, you read my book. Let's get a laptop. I don't know, me and VJ can buy a nice MacBook for ourselves. I'll buy a nice top high end $2,000-$3,000 MacBook. Okay, VJ, let's type out the notes. Okay, let's start with volume 1. Let's start with volume 1, and then what we do is we go over each chapter and we talk about the changes that should be made in each chapter. You see what I'm saying? It's a lot of work, but look, VJ, we need to be serious, man. I want my book to be a masterpiece. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have to go over the whole book. No, what we mean, okay, VJ, because because VJ already read my book, we don't have to go over the whole book. I know my book inside and out. Okay, VJ, for the prologue. What are you thinking of? What changes do you think I should make for the prologue? You know what I'm saying? I don't know, Ivan. You don't need to make any changes. Your book is a map. No, VJ. Just okay. I don't know, Ivan. We can have what? We can have more scenes with Famia, Eratet's Fuful's mother, Eratet's wife. Add a few more scenes with Famia, Eratet's wife. Obviously. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking, I don't know, when Nelii, Cornelius' father, delivers the weapons to Xanus, Tactius' gift for Tactius' son, obviously. When he arrives back, he never arrives back home because what? He gets killed on the way, obviously. You know what I'm saying? We can have he on his way back, he sees like a wolf up ahead. He hides. He rides on his horse, and the wolves go after him and they kill him. Do some of that in the movie to make it more interesting. How Nelia dies. Add that in the prologue, obviously. But I told you I'll barely be making any changes for Xanax because Xanax is a masterpiece. It's like the almost perfect story. Yeah, even Peter Jackson told me like, yeah, Ivan, I read your book. We don't have to make a bunch of changes like I did for Lord of the Rings. All we have to do is just follow all your scenes. The only thing we can change, people be like, Ivan, the only changes we can make for your movie is pretty much just add more scenes and add more dialogue, and that's it, man. We don't need to change the characters. We don't need to what? We don't need to change the plot. Never. I'm not changing the plot. We don't need to change the plot, Ivan. We can follow your book. You wrote a masterpiece. We can just tweak some of the dialogue. We can add a few more dialogues to make it more interesting. Add a few more scenes to make it more interesting. Yeah. All you have to do is follow my book. You'll get an amazing movie. I wrote a masterpiece, obviously. But for me to be prepped, screenwriting is not the same thing as writing a novel. Hence why I bought this book to prep myself, obviously, years in advance. And I'm going to study the Fellowship of the Ring script with VJ, obviously. Now I'm going to take a good like 6 to 10 pages worth of notes. Talk about the changes that should be made. Ivan, what are going to be the big changes for Xanax? The big changes for Xanax, I would say, is what? The big changes for Xanax, I would say, is probably, I don't know, Tactius. Tactius' eyes glow blue in the book. In the movie, I will not have his eyes glow blue. I'll have his eyes change color. Aratat's eyes glow red in the book, but in the movie, I won't have his eyes glow red. I'll have his eyes change color, or I might not even have his eyes glow red at all. So make a few changes, obviously. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. There won't be any major changes for my movie, man, because Xanax is like the almost perfect story. If you follow the book, you're gonna get a masterpiece of a movie, man. Even Greg Bolt, Toro, P. Joshua, Ivan, we don't have to change much for the movie. You wrote a masterpiece. If we follow your scenes, follow all your scenes, and you apply this kind of movie on the business, you're looking at a masterpiece, Ivan. Ivan, you wrote an amazing book, man. You know, they're like, yeah, Ivan, you wrote an amazing book. I'm saying, I'm like, thank you guys. I'm saying, yeah, man, your book is better than Jared Tolkien's Lord of the Rings, man. You wrote a masterpiece, Ivan. Like once you start to think about it, like your plot is so deep, Taki's and acting to Del himself, yeah. Obviously. What will be one major change for my movie? I'm trying to think here, man. I can't think of any major changes because I can't really think of what. Obviously, the Zane arts. Yeah, the Zane arts in Tactius and all them, when they fight the wolves, they do flips and all that stuff. Whereas in the movie, chances are he will not do flips. I will not have Tactius and the actors do flips because I think it's a little silly. The moment you have it become like Star Wars, it will be a bit silly if you do flips. You're looking at unheard of fighting. Like think something like Aragorn's fighting in Lord of the Rings, except a bit more better than that. You see what I'm saying? Remember how Aragorn's a badass fighter? Think something better than that for what? For Xanax, like badass fighting. You know how in Gladiator, Maximus is a badass fighter? Think something like that for Tactius. So in the book, Tactius does flips when he fights. In the movie, he will not do flips, most likely. I'm gonna ask Peter Jackson, Peter, do you think it's better? You think it's cool if Tactius does flips? Peter Jackson says, no, that's a bit silly. You know what I'm saying? It was fine for your book, but for the movie, I think we should stay away from the flips. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, the biggest change in my Xanax movie will be the action sequences, as I will not follow the book word to word for the action. For the action sequences, we can choreograph our own scenes. We don't have to follow exactly we don't have to follow the book. Peter, for the action sequences, we don't have to follow the book. We can choreograph our own scenes. Hire the best stuntman to help Peter Jackson and choreograph the best act. I'll have my stuntman help choreograph the action sequences with the first unit directors and the second unit directors for my movie, and help Peter Jackson out and Guillermo del Toro for the action sequences. That's why we're looking at an amazing war, man. Hey guys, I want all the battle sequences to be epic, man. Something even better than I want the final battle to be better than Helm's Deep. Tell him that. Tell Peter Jackson the way he knows. Peter, I want the final battle to be even better than your Lord of the Rings Two Towers Helm's Deep battle. Yeah, don't worry about it. I'm saying you're looking at something unheard of, son. And what? I won't tell him I want to be better than Lord of the Rings because Peter Jackson has an ego. But like Peter, I want the final battle to be the best war ever, man. And he's like, yeah, I know. Look, I'll have the stuntman help choreograph the actions with the actors. You know what I'm saying, so you know the actors trained on, so you can have the stuntman help choreograph their action sequences. That way you get an unheard of war. You see what I'm saying? So the biggest changes in my movie will probably be the action sequences, as I'm not gonna follow the book for the action sequences. I'm gonna what? I'm gonna have them. I'm gonna have the stuntmen choreograph their own action sequences for the battle sequences in the war. You see what I'm saying? The dialogue and scenes, I'll follow the book, but I'm gonna add probably a good 30% of dialogue, obviously, and I'm probably gonna add a good like 25% of scenes in the movie to make it more interesting. And I'll probably delete a good like 5% of the scenes that are not good for the movie. Okay, Peter, you read my book. Are there any scenes in the book that will not translate well on screen? He's like, Ivan, I don't know. I mean, there are a few scenes that maybe you shouldn't add. You should change. You know what I'm saying? They might not translate well on screen. But Ivan, most of your scenes will translate well on screen. You know what I'm saying? You wrote a masterpiece, Ivan. Yeah, man, I wrote a masterpiece that all my scenes will translate well on screen. Because I'm a fucking creative genius, man. I know what I'm doing. I'm a creative genius, man. You see what I'm saying? I'm a fucking creative genius. I know what I'm doing. But even though I'm a creative genius, I need help. Hence why I'm reading that Cy Phil's Foundations of Screenwriting, obviously. And I'm going to study the Fellowship Ring script. I'm going to study the Fellowship Ring script a good like 2-3 times with VJ during the 8 months. It's only a 118 page. In a good like 2-3 days, we can read the whole script. Okay, VJ, I want us constantly going over this script. That way we're prepped and we have some good ideas for Zanus. Because Peter Jackson wrote a masterpiece of a screenplay for Fellowship of the Ring. In my opinion, Fellowship of the Ring was the best written of the 3 movies. In my opinion. Really, yes, Fellowship of the Ring was the best written of the 3 movies. But even though it was the best written of the 3 movies, it wasn't the best. In my opinion, Two Towers was the best. Well, you could argue Two Towers was better written than Fellowship of the Ring 2. But in my opinion, Fellowship of the Ring was the best written of the 3 movies. It's a fucking Peter Jackson, the Philip woman, and Fran wrote a masterpiece, man. Sometimes I read it, I watch it with, man, I can't believe Peter Jackson wrote this, man. This is a fucking masterpiece. Yeah, that's why I want that brilliant mind helping me, man. And Peter Jackson I'm like, holy shit, Peter Jackson knows his shit, you know what I'm saying? He's helped me with all these words, you know what I'm saying? Like, Ivan, your dialogue is already good. No, Peter, I need you to help me with a rich dialogue. No, Ivan, your book already has rich dialogue. No, Peter, I need you to help me with a rich dialogue. And he helps me out. I'm like, holy shit, he knows his shit. Yeah, he helps me out with all the scenes. Jon Favreau and Filoni helped me out. They wrote Mandalorian. Yeah, they helped me out. And then we write an amazing screenplay together. A masterpiece of a screenplay. Yeah, man. That's why Zanus will be the best story we've told in Most Adventure, man. That's been crazy. I'm going to shut my camera off here, have my 2 smokes, and I will continue part 2. Shut my camera off here.